Picture this, it's late 1932, the dusty wheat belt of Western Australia. You're a veteran recently returned from the Great War, hoping to coax grain out of stubborn red soil only to find 20,000 6-foot-tall armor-plated birds trampling your crops like it's a festival mosh pit. You write to Canberra, begging for help. What arrives isn't a wildlife officer or a fence subsidy, but soldiers armed with Lewis's machine guns. This, somehow, is not the setup to a Monty Python sketch. This is the Great Emu War. First, let's meet the enemy. Emus are basically feathered velociraptors wearing clown pants. They run 50 kilometers an hour, vault fences like parkour athletes, shrugged off bullets thanks to Kevlar-grade feathers, and when spooked, scatter in random zigzag patterns that would make a fighter pilot dizzy. Oh, and they travel in mobs the size of small armies. Why were they here? Because the government told World War I vets, thanks for your service. Here's marginal land way out west. Good luck. The scheme worked if your definition of worked is tightening belts while praying for rain. Then the 1929 crash hit, wheat prices cratered, the rains failed, and suddenly, those innocent-looking birds, showing up for free snacks, looked an awful lot like locusts on stilts. Farmers tried scarecrows. The emus photobombed them. They tried exclusion fences. The emus pole vaulted. Finally, the farmers said, "We have rifles. What we don't have is enough trigger fingers." So they asked the Minister of Defense. Enter Major G.P.W. Meredith of the Royal Australian Artillery. 2 Lewis guns, 10,000 rounds, 2 truckloads of ambition, and an assistant who brought a cinematographer because even in 1932, if you're doing something ridiculous, someone wants the footage. Operation Emu, Eradication, Day 1. Soldiers spot a mob near Campion. They creep within range, shout fire, and the gun jams after a few stuttering bursts. The birds scatter with nothing more than a tickled tail feather. The soldiers cleared the jam, chase, open fire againly to realize the recoil is knocking aim skyward while emus zigzag like NFL running backs. Score: Emus 1, Army 0. Day 2, they set an ambush at a dam. Over 1,000 emus oblige, strolling into perfect kill zone formation. Meredith's finger tightens. The first volley drops a few birds, but the mob splits like mercury, flanking left and right into scrub. Lewis gun overheats, emus vanish. The troopers harvest maybe a dozen carcasses. They pose for victory photos, but the math is grim. 12 dead out of thousands equals a rounding error. Day 3. Plan B: mount a gun on a truck to run and gun like an outback Mad Max. The truck lurches over ruts so violently the gunner can't aim. When they finally catch a flock in the open, the driver floors it. The gunner squeezes, and the recoil nearly yeets him off the tray. They miss everything except their pride. Farmers watch from fence lines, wondering if they should start cheering for the birds. One week in, Parliament asks for a progress report. Meredith estimates 2,500 rounds fired for maybe 50 confirmed kills. That's 50 birds, not 50,000. Cost-benefit analysis says bullets are expensive. Emus work for seeds. The press has a field day. Military humiliated by feathered foes, screams one headline. Cartoonists depict generals saluting emus wearing medals. Meanwhile, the emus evolve tactics. Scouts perch on ridgelines, squawking warnings. Small groups harass crops as decoys while the main force splinters fences elsewhere. One bird reportedly soaks up 5 slugs and keeps sprinting, earning the nickname Tank. Legend says Tank lived to a ripe old age, dining exclusively on government-subsidized wheat. After 2 weeks, Meredith claims 300 dead, but auditors tally fewer than 100 beaks. The defense minister, under opposition heckling, calls the operation off. The army withdraws, trailing feathers and embarrassment. Farmers howl. We didn't ask for retreat, we asked for results. Letters flood Canberra, but public ridicule has momentum. Senators joke that defense should issue medals to the emus for valor and evasive brilliance. In desperation, the government offers a bounty instead, 10 shillings per beak. Suddenly, civilian hunters flock west. Over 6 months they notch 57,000 kills, proving money talks louder than machine gun chatter. So, who won? Let's check the scoreboard. Australian Army casualties: 0 dead, several egos wounded, ammunition expended, 10,000 rounds. Emus killed by military, roughly 1 per 100 shots. Emus alive after cessation, all of them, plus offspring hatching every 56 days. The birds clearly claim bragging rights. But in the long run, fencing subsidies and bounties boring policy tools beat steel and gunpowder. The farms survived, the emu population stabilized. Today, the war is a relic on Wikipedia, trotted out whenever someone wants proof that truth is stranger than satire. Yet the legend endures because it taps something universal. The folly of assuming brute force solves ecological problems. Swap emus for cane toads, rabbits, kudzu say moral, different pest. Nature doesn't read our memos. So next time you picture Australian wildlife, forget cuddly koalas. Remember the regiment baiting birds who outran bullets and won an official war without firing a shot. Some victories echo through history, others simply sprint, zigzag, and vanish into the mulga, leaving humans to clean up the punchline.